Hey guys, welcome to Armchair Conversations with Rob. Part three about meditation and martial arts and my little perceptions about it. I promised to tell you how I see it when you would put the both sides of meditation that you use it as far as martial arts is concerned together in action, in a fight, okay, or sparring match or whatever, okay. Well, let's talk about them both. Well, one of them is visualization, right? Okay, so you've been meditating, you've been learning to calm your mind and free it up and visualize moves and patterns and things as far as performance, your performance, the enemy's performance or opponent's performance, and being able to start using your brain to analyze and predict movements, how things would be chained together, knowing that if they kick with this leg in this way, they're going to have to sit it down here, which is going to do the next thing, set them up to um, either add ability to move in a certain way or eliminate certain movements. Okay, so that side of the coin is probably in some ways a little more difficult as you get more advanced because you start running into more things that you know are possible. And so you have to start thinking a little more critically and analytically, while still trying to maintain some kind of sense of calm in the middle of the fact that this person is fighting you. Okay, which I think is amazing. Those that can do this very easily or have practiced to do this very easily. So then we move over to the perception side. Now, in my opinion, at this point in time when I'm talking to you, is that the most relied on things in a fight, as far as the perception side goes, are going to be sight, sound, and touch. Okay. Not necessarily in any particular order, depending on how you fight and what you're doing. Sight, obviously, because you're not only going to be thinking about and have visualized them and meditating on the movements and how you're going to respond to those movements, but you're also going to see them and have to take that data, flip it through your head, pick out the appropriate responses out of the things that you've visualized, and then pull up the visualization that you've imagined yourself doing this thing to counter a particular move and execute it perfectly. And all that stuff happens within a fraction of a second. And I think truly that if you meditate and use your visualization skills along with beginning to tune into your perceptions, that it's going to happen faster and more accurately every time as you use it. So case in point, if you visualize somebody punching you in the face, um, and no martial artist, please comment on my punch to the face. Okay, but they're punching you in the face, and you've been visualizing um, what you're going to do with that. Okay, that visualization would mean jack if your vision is not being used at the time, if you're not focusing in on the nuances of the movement to know that that fist is coming towards your face, to be able to gauge maybe what speed, what direction, how much commitment there is, whether or not you can analyze all the extraneous visual cues about their feet placement and things as far as follow through. Okay, to know whether you're going to duck, weave, bob, block, etc., lock, whatever. Okay, so that's where you put those two together, visualization and perception. Now, the other one, which is the sensation or the touch aspect, is important too to be added to this mix, because especially if you're going to move or block, um, when you move, you're going to have to feel where your foot placement is, where your balance is, and the direction in which you're going to move, and the sensation of knowing that you've evaded the blow. Um, if you're blocking, trapping, or locking, um, Wing Chun is very famous for this, and Tai Chi also is being able to make contact with the incoming force and to either redirect it or to stop it completely, or to go with it. And so that's where the perception comes in as far as the sense of touch and feel of the directions, because you're learning about the directions, you're learning about how hard and fast it is, you're learning how you need to move your body to escape it, to match your visualization of what you were going to do when this person punched at you. And all these things happen also within a fraction of a second sometimes. Um, and so you're going to have to figure out the telemetry um, just from the simple act of putting your hand up to block or touching, or especially if you're trapping or locking, as you do sometimes in Wing Chun. Um, being able to know that you either need to add more force to your limb or whatever you're blocking with, or to move your body in a certain way to either minimize the possible damage that can be done or to evade the blow altogether. And so you play those elements back and forth in the midst of a fight, but you develop them during your meditational time and during your practice time physically. And what I'm saying is your meditation and visualization skill time can help enhance the actual kinesthetic practice that you do to prepare for an event, because there is some level of coordination that is going to be there just from meditating and visualizing the response. But then during the actual fight itself or combat, that's when you shift your focus from visualization to perception so that you can look at the nuances of what's going on to detect the movements before you ever have to use your kinesthetic sense and actually touch or move or feel or to mitigate in some way the damage caused if your visualization doesn't pan out. Okay. And so I know it's kind of a complex, goofy, roundabout way, but you do use both of these things in a martial arts type confrontation. And you use them quite liberally and judiciously, and you go back and forth between the two in the entire process of a confrontation from start to finish. What's really the cool thing, the movie magic thing about that kind of thing is over years and years of practice. Because in Aikido, I love to watch, I'm going to probably butcher his name, Morihei Ushiba. O-sensei I've heard Aikidoists call him. He had a sense of what the opponent was going to do, and a kinesthetic sense of being able to sense the energy of the opponent even as it was beginning to move in its direction toward him or on its way to him. That there are many times where he was able to manipulate people without even touching them, or very minimally touching them, because that discipline in particular is about efficiency of movement, economy of movement, and using as little force as possible to redirect force or to end the confrontation. As is Tai Chi. You see Tai Chi a lot more for practice of health and developing your internal energy in terms of health. But as a combat system, it's actually quite effective, just like many arts are. Um, and it definitely relies on the both components, the visualization component, because the practice of those slow, deliberate movements helps you to fine tune your sense of feel and touch and sight when you're actually faced with an opponent if practiced long enough. So anyway, I just wanted to touch on what I meant by applying both in a fight. Again, hope it was useful. Even if it wasn't, it's already out there in cyberspace. So like it, love it, subscribe to it, don't subscribe to it, but do something. And again, thanks for sharing my armchair, guys. For all you martial artists out there, keep playing, keep going, and I will be joining you very soon.